What's going on, guys? I'm your host, Nicola Bosco, and on this Nona Connect Roundtable discussion, we are bringing in some high school seniors, some parents, and some teachers to talk about a wonderful Facebook group that is making a massive impact in the Lake Nona community. And we really just want to kind of discuss, the class of 2020 is feeling this COVID-19 pandemic. They're feeling it a lot, and we know everyone has some concerns for them and has some questions for them. So if you have any questions that you'd like to submit during this live stream, please go ahead and put them below, and we will bring them in and get your questions answered. So I'd like to formally introduce, we have Kevin Kendrick, who is a former teacher and also an adoptive parent for the Facebook group that we're addressing. Kevin, thank you for joining.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course. Lisa and Tyler Mader. So Lisa was the co-creator for this Facebook group that we're going to be talking about today. And Tyler is a high school senior at Lake Nona High School, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you for joining, guys.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Of course. And Tina Escalez is here. She's also a co-creator for the Facebook group, and her son hopefully will be joining us towards the end of this stream. Tina, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, thank you.
Awesome.
And we have Angie Fallon. Angie, it's so good to see you again. So Angie, your son is also a Lake Nona High School senior, correct?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, and Noemi, thank you for joining. You are a senior.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's been
perfect.
Crazy.
Oh, I can imagine. We're going to get into that too, because we want to make sure that our class of 2020 is feeling support from our community, because we all are one big family. And, let's just jump into it. So I kind of want to go around and talk to each one of you individually and kind of see, talk to me a bit about yourself. Are you a parent, a student, a teacher, and how is this scenario kind of affecting you right now? So Kevin, let's start off with you.
Well, it really hasn't affected me because I don't have a senior. What I do have is a huge heart for our community and a huge heart for our teachers, and of course, the ladies that are here now, and even Noemi, I know from our community, and it's heartbreaking that, what should be the best last 8 weeks of school for these high school seniors, they're at home hanging out with mom and dad, which as parents, we would love that, but there's no prom, there's no senior skip day, which I was told still exists. There's no senior walkout. And no graduation as of right now. I know Orange County Public Schools is working on something. So for me, it just impacts the community. And it's been amazing. I mean, just mind-blowing and mind-numbing to see what these ladies have started, and to see that every day they're saying, we need more, we need more, we need more seniors, because there's so many people in our community who are saying, we want to adopt a senior. So my heart is just blown away with our Lake Nona community, as it always is. Our community is so unique and so special. So that's my 2 cents on it. And I'm just blessed to be here. And it's just amazing to see what our Lake Nona community has done.
It really is amazing to see the whole community come together. And, let's take it to Lisa and Tyler. So Lisa, as a co-creator of this group, talk to me a bit about what was the mentality about creating it, and, how, Tyler, you're here as well. Talk to me about how this group has affected you.
Well, to begin with, it's so hard as a mom to see your child going through something like this when they've been waiting their whole life to graduate. Tyler's been in school since pre-K3, so it's been a long road. Nothing was being done. Everything kind of felt like it was just falling by the wayside. So, you know how we boo people at Halloween and drop off little baskets at the doors? Yeah. That was the first thought. And then, because I'm a catechist at our church, we adopt families at Thanksgiving and at Christmas. So that's kind of how this happened. And I got together with Tina, and we decided, let's do this so that we could try to bring everyone together to try to make the kids happy. And there's been a little bit of confusion. It's not about giving the children tons of gifts. It's just about letting them know that we're here for them, that they haven't been forgotten, that their senior year is still important, and we're trying to make that senior year as happy as possible for them.
Right.
I'd say definitely impact that it had on me, at least a very positive impact. Because these days where you have to stay inside, you can't really interact with your friends because of social distancing. Just to get something from someone else that they don't have any obligation. They do it out of their own kindness of their own heart. So it's really touching, and it helps you get through those days that are a little bit darker than others. Uh, because
Definitely.
obviously not being able to see your friends and stuff. So
I mean, I think honestly, what the greatest thing about this is that in such a dark time that the whole world is going through, we can still show that we do care about people. Because even though a lot of us are all in the same scenario, we're all quarantined at home, I do feel like the class of 2020 is feeling it the biggest, because those are some major moments in your life. And some people are downplaying it a little bit, being like, oh, it's just your senior year. But even though it's your senior year, you are experiencing so much and you're growing so much that it's definitely an important thing. And I think that's why we're here to address it. Noemi, let's go to you. Let's talk a bit about, what was your senior year like so far, and how are you dealing with it right now?
So at first when it all happened, I was handling it pretty well. I was like, oh, like maybe this will only be for a month and like we'll get back to things. But then slowly things started getting canceled. I was in the spring musical and it got canceled, and then prom and all those things. And I was like, oh, like this is kind of getting serious. And then like these past 2 weeks, I think was when it hit the hardest. And let me say, when my adopted mom, she dropped off like a tiny little note and like a few goodies for me, it made my entire morning. Like it really, really lifted my mood, because I think those 2 weeks were the first times I was really, really feeling the gravity of the situation, and the idea that, wow, I'm not going to have these things. Like this isn't like, oh, it's all taken away from me. So yeah, it was a really, really nice gesture, and it made me feel so good, to be honest.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, so we're going to dive into that just a tad bit more. But Tina, let's get to you. Talk to me a little bit more from your perspective about the creation of this Facebook group, and kind of what the mission was to have everyone cope with the COVID-19 situation and school being out.
Okay, well, Lisa and I go back a long way through good and bad. And, we don't see each other every day. We're both very busy, but we chit chat, here and there. And right from the beginning, we've both just been like utterly devastated. I'm just like beside myself. I took 11 days off in the month of April, and I was really looking forward, to it. My son is my only son, and I was just ready to just really embrace, all of his achievements. And Lisa and I were going back and forth, and then a couple weeks ago, she messaged me. I mean, this is definitely her little brainchild. She's an animal. I don't know how she comes up with this stuff, but she does. And I had a personal conviction, because I felt like a lot wasn't being done, feeling very frustrated as a mother. And two, I trust her. She tells me, let's go this way. I say, let's go. So, I figured that we'd be a good pair, a good match to start something like this. And been in the community since 2001. And I also trusted that we were going to get on there and be able to do things. It'd be hard if we had a community that, we didn't know what was going to happen, because then all of a sudden you get all these seniors, and then everybody might feel unwanted, or, they're not getting adopted. And, that crossed my mind, but only for a brief second, because I've been in this community a long time, and in more ways than one, with another thing that's currently happening in my life right now, I realize that the community is behind us 100% as residents here.
Definitely. And Angie, how about you? How are you handling it with a high school senior?
It was a little bit of everything, because in the beginning, I didn't think it would take too much of an impact on him. But then as time has moved on, I see that it really has had a negative impact on him. I feel so bad for our seniors, because so much of what is theirs is being taken away from there because of the current situation. And I feel that this group that Tina and Lisa have put together is a great uplift for the students. Me as a parent, it gets me, it allows me to get to see some of the other students, and there are wonderful things that they have accomplished. So I love that has happened. when I was looking to adopt a particular student, I was really looking for specific things. And I love that the student, Oriana, that I adopted was connected to the special needs students, and she volunteered at Give Kids the World Village. She had a lot of things of what I was looking for. So my son, unfortunately, has been, I think, a little bit more negatively impacted because of his special needs. So as a parent, it's harder for me to, well, not harder, but harder for me to see him go through what he's going. And I think that as a parent, we need to be very aware of our children who we think are just, handling it okay, because a lot of them really are not. And we need to look out for those special signs. So this group has been a great uplift for those students.
Definitely. And, Noemi, I want to go back to you and kind of move on to our next question, which is talking a little bit more about what some of the challenges are that you've personally been facing during quarantine. And I think this is something that we're hearing a lot about all the events and the special activities that the seniors haven't been able to have because of COVID-19. But besides all that, what are you currently dealing with?
I would say the transition to online schooling was a really, really rough transition. I was struggling to switch over to Canvas more often and all those things. And it was, for me, I had Valencia classes and high school classes. And because those two they don't communicate with each other because it's separate things, I found a lot of things intervening with each other. And I just found it really difficult to manage, because those 2 weeks where we didn't have school whatsoever, I went into the mindset where we're not going to be doing any schoolwork. And so it was hard to get back into the rhythm of things, especially in a different setting than in an in-person setting, which works way better for me. I have a lot of performing arts classes, and I'm very grateful for how the way that they've been handling everything, especially my chorus and theater and ceramics class. But I would say it was difficult for me to transition to singing it in a group to recording myself singing the alma mater. It was just a weird transition, and I don't personally like online schooling, but you just have to push through. It is what it is. But I think that was the biggest challenge I faced.
Okay. And Tyler, let's go to you. What are some of the challenges you're facing?
Definitely, as Noemi said, there's the challenge of adjusting to the new way of learning, or distant learning. That's definitely something I've been doing. But another thing is just trying to keep myself in a good mindset. Trying to keep myself connected with my friends, because during this quarantine, you can't see them, and you don't want to not, communicate and then kind of lose a connection there.
And I think that's a valid concern too, is because we have the Zoom calls and we have FaceTime, where we're kind of in a generation where it's easy to access our friends when we have to be quarantined, but it can be very easy to, I guess, self-isolate yourself mentally and forget, hey, that support system still exists, and maybe I should reach out. So I like how you touched on that. And now, Lisa, as a parent of a high school senior, what are some of the challenges? I know we touched on this a little bit earlier in your first statement, but what are you facing personally as a high school senior parent?
Well, having to get the child, and I've got a younger one as well, ready to do their distance learning, to make sure that they're doing what they need to do, without constantly beating them up about it or hovering over them, which when you're quarantined is something nobody wants. That's been a great challenge. The social distancing has been extremely difficult, especially for Tyler, because he is an extremely outgoing person. He loves to be with everyone. He chorus, band, he's just a performer. Personally, not just with singing and music, but he loves to engage people. And this has been extremely difficult. Sometimes he'll spend a little too much time in his room, not wanting to come downstairs because I don't know. So that's been really hard because when you are used to seeing your child so vibrant, so alive, so out there and ready to be there for people and do things with people, to see a complete turnaround, sometimes you just don't know what to do.
Right. Tina, how are you and your son handling this, all the stress and kind of like the lack of events and stuff?
Well, my son Tyler is actually one of his best friends. It is opposites attract because he's a lot more introverted than Tyler. I could lock him up in the closet for 12 hours and he would totally entertain himself. And I think that's like an only child thing too. But for me, I'm devastated. And there's more than the stuff that that they're going to lose. Like in my son's case, he took a 4-year medical program at his school and is not going to be able to finish it. He's not going to be able to take the base test. He was supposed to graduate with a biomedical certification, and no, that's up in the air. 4 years of hard work. So I've been keeping busy. Basically, I do have another job, and I've also been helping my husband keep his restaurant afloat, which was the other thing I was going to mention. His restaurant's about 45 minutes away from here, but because I have a lot of ties with the community, I decided to bring the business to Lake Nona. So I've been delivering the food from his restaurant, and Kevin Kendrick has been amazing getting it out there for me on his website. But I've just been trying to keep busy. My son's been keeping busy because between college stuff that he's getting ready for and all his classes, his demanding classes, he's been busy, and my husband's been busy. So I guess that's been our savior, is that we're not bored. We are like busier than ever. Thank goodness. Keeps our mind off.
Definitely. Angie, what's going on?
So it's been a big adjustment for us as well. Brendan is not enjoying this online education. A lot of the students really like to learn, or do learn, from hearing it directly from the teachers, seeing first hands-on. He's also a dual enrollment student. So trying to get those schedules adjusted for him and to keep him on track has been something I've had to be a little bit more aggressive about, just so that he doesn't fall behind. College is finishing up. They're doing their finals this week. And I think for him, it's just been the whole concept of not having that interjection with the classes that are going on with the teachers. I would have loved to seen some virtual classes at the same time that the kids always had their classes. I thought that would have been a good idea, but may have been difficult to entertain, with all the servers going down and all the trouble that they're having with that.
Right.
So just trying to keep Brendan on track to finishing up. And for me, the biggest thing is that some of these students, high school may have been the end of the line for them as far as graduations and stuff. So to think about those students who may not have that graduation, and that was their moment to shine, and they may not be going out to college. So just the stresses of that and thinking, just trying to keep on track and everything are mostly what's impacting us. And then of course I'm still going to work. So just trying to deal with the stresses of work and stresses of online education has had a bit of a way down for us.
I can imagine balancing both as a parent and still working a full-time job. It can be a lot of weight and stress to kind of find the time, because you're also playing teacher.
Yes.
Kevin, now you may not have a high school senior child, but you are an adoptive parent. So I'm curious, have there been any challenges on your end as far as the adoption process has gone with the Facebook group?
So for me, no. And ironically, I reached out to the mother of the child, the student that I've adopted. He's not a child, he's bigger than me. And I haven't quote unquote done anything for him yet, because I know the student, not necessarily well, but I know him. So I know there's specific things that he likes. So I've ordered some things. So when I do get a chance to present, and my wife, I think it's going to be something that he's going to love. And so if so there hasn't been a challenge. I think the best part about it was, Tina and everyone, that the ladies, they just made it so easy. And I think their biggest struggle more than anything is just making sure we get more seniors and putting it on all the different community Facebook pages, whether it's North Lake Park, North Shore, Laureate Park, Eagle Creek, and making sure that these seniors get tagged. And now we've got seniors even from outside of Orange County. We've got the seniors that are going to school at Lake Toho in St. Cloud area. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, I think one of the neat things is, like Tina's son goes to Cornerstone, but then you have Maytel, her two twins go to Boone High School, and then you've got kids who go to Colonial. I think that's just amazing. And when other people from the community, other communities in Central Florida, they hear about what we're doing, it's interesting to hear them say, well, my school's not doing that. My community's not doing that. And so I think I think that's part of the dynamic of Lake Nona, is that we've always been very well connected through social media because we're such a young community, and that Facebook has been a tool to connect us, and it's showing itself right now.
For sure. That's probably the greatest thing too, is that, I feel like that's the recurring theme, is that this Facebook group, ultimately a Facebook group is meant to bring people together. But you're seeing it more so now than ever. Like COVID-19, that's technically separating all of us. We're all coming together even more so now than before, just to show how strong and supportive of a community that we are. And Lake Nona has always kind of been ahead of the trends, and I think this is a prime example. Like you said, Kevin, other communities may not be doing this. You're mentioning Boone High School, which is about a 30 to 45-minute drive from the Lake Nona area, depending on traffic. I think it's amazing. You can show how quickly it reaches, and hopefully it'll spread like wildfire. Well, I am curious, while we're kind of touching on all of the lessons and the challenges, the next question we have, what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned while in quarantine? And this is for everyone. So Tina, let's go to you. As an individual, it doesn't have to be as a parent or as an employee of whatever business. Talk to me about, what's the biggest lesson you've learned?
Well, for me, it's never take anything for granted. Like, who knew the last time, that, when I saw my parents, I was going to kiss and hug them and not see them for a long time, because, they're in their 70s and I don't want to take the chance. We're in and out of the house, for my son, how did he know that the last time he went down those hallways, that would be his last time? So, basically, not to take things for granted, Christmas, different events that happen that you could have gone to an event like a friend's 40th birthday, but I decided to work instead. Now I look and I'm like, really, did it matter? Because now I'm just home every day. So,
right.
I feel like in the future, we have to take some valuable lessons from this, and, not take things or people for granted, and things are going to be a lot more meaningful for me, are more meaningful even now. Our kids write a passage, something you automatically assume you graduate, every generation in modern history has been able to do that before and probably after this. But, what you think was going to happen, you could have never imagined a couple weeks or months ago that it would not happen. I've already bought graduation, decorations for his party. Who would have thought? So that's, for me, that's the biggest thing.
Okay, Angie, how about you?
I would say that for me, the biggest lesson I've learned is not taking the little things for granted. The little things in life that we just think every day or that we're entitled to, and these little things in life are really what are getting us through. When you look at the big picture, we've all had to be extremely flexible and adapt to new environments, new things that we're doing. So with having that flexibility, and you really get a chance when you watch the news and everything to really and truly things that we took for granted, like, just simple going out to the store without a mask on. And now you put that mask on and you barely can breathe, especially in the humidity in Florida. It's impossible, very hard outside. So just the little things in life that you thought that you never thought about. Now you are thinking about as these are the little things that matter. So that has been the biggest lesson for me.
Kevin, how about you?
I'm going to take words from, my wife, Melanie Miller, who's, I think she's been with you on the show before, and Dr. Linda Travelou. We have an opportunity we're in this situation that we don't necessarily want to be in, but we have an opportunity to come out of this better than when we started. And Dr. Travelou's doing leadership through John Maxwell. So what books are we reading? What online courses are we leading? A friend of mine, Ryan Thomas, he became a certified trainer during this. So how can we make our marriages better, our relationships with our kids better? And one of the things that BJ Jackson, a friend of mine in North Lake Park, he said, man, it's scary. I've gotten to know my kids on such a deeper and intimate level. And all of that was because of quarantining. And kind of even to Tina's point is that, we are home. And so now we took those for granted. We took our kids going out and spending time with their buddies and shooing them out the doors. And now we're with them. So what are we doing to become better? And what are we doing to become, take our relationships to a much deeper level? So that's us in the Kendrick household.
I love that. Lisa and Tyler, how about you guys?
I personally have loved all of the extra time I've gotten to be with everyone, even though they make me a little crazy at times. It's been wonderful. I'm the kind of person that if I had a mansion, I'd have all of my children and their families as they get older living there, and I'd make breakfast and dinner for them. So for me, this is nice to be able to be with them. The thing that I've really realized is that in this time where we all feel so limited, that possibilities are limitless, because who would have thought that stuck in your home, something like this could happen? Our community is moving. Our community is involved. Our community is doing, even though we're all limited. So really, we're not. We have all of these possibilities, and our community is making those possibilities realities for all of these kids. They're coming together in this time and just superseding any expectation we could have possibly had.
Tyler, how are you handling? What's your biggest lesson?
So the biggest lesson I probably learned is right now it's kind of hard to deal with the reality of things because this doesn't happen every day. We're living through history right now, and sometimes it's just hard to realize that, it's just really overwhelming. So the thing that I've learned is just take it one day at a time. It helps,
love that.
Like move better.
I love that. One day at a time for sure. Yeah, I think that'll definitely help with like the coping process. Things can be very stressful and very overwhelming during this. So taking it bit by bit is a great lesson to take away if you're going to take away anything from this. So I feel that. Noemi, how about you? I know you kind of touched on it previously, transitioning to online and balancing your dual enrollment classes. But what would you say is the biggest lesson for you?
I would say the biggest lesson for me is learning to stay in contact with my friends more. I took for granted the fact that I would see them every day, like in person. And since I'm like home, I'm trying to make more of an effort to reach out to them, and they're doing the same as well. It's interesting because some of my friends, they live like 3-4 houses down, and I can't even like see them.
It's like torture.
Yeah, exactly. And so I realize that like it's very important to, just check up on people every now and then. So even if it's not every day, like every other day, every 3 days, just see like how everyone's doing. And also it's a good practice for college, because I know my friends are going all over the country. Like one's going to Chicago, one's going to Minnesota. It's all over the place. And so I'm just learning to, like handle that. So it's just interesting. It's like a practice trial, I guess.
I love that mindset. Between both of your responses, Tyler and Noemi, it's like you guys are building up to, if you're going to college and or you're going into the real world and having a full-time job, it is a positive outlook to see this situation as prepping you, whether it's taking things one day at a time, or, you're distancing yourself, but you're still keeping in contact with those that you love. I think that's a great lesson to take away from it. And that's really inspiring. Like, it makes me kind of flash back to, when I was younger and thinking, like, what would I have thought as a high school senior? Would I have been taking these lessons as well? So I do appreciate you guys being very candid about that. I want to jump into, I know we mentioned it a bit earlier, I want to bring it back towards the Facebook group that was created to really make a difference for the class of 2020. And so Lisa and Tina will get you guys side by side to talk about a little bit more about this group and what its mission statement was. And I know you mentioned somewhere in that group that we're now taking college seniors. Can you guys touch on that a bit for me?
Absolutely. The group, again, was initially to uplift our high school seniors in this area. As it started to build a little bit of momentum, there were some parents that would message us and say, hey, we live on the outskirts. We've got seniors. And Tina and I discussed it, and we did not want to leave anyone out because they're all our children and they're all our responsibility as a community. So we invited them in. There are people that live in this area, which is why it was Lake Nona area seniors, not Lake Nona high school seniors.
Right.
For the children that go to Boone, for Don Michael, who's at Cornerstone, for all of these kids that live here that have gone to school here and in high school went in different directions. There is a teacher who is on the Facebook group and very, very sweet, adopted a couple of her former students who had a college senior. And she's like, my daughter is getting ready to graduate from college. She's missing all of her lasts as well. I'd really like for her to be able to be adopted. I think it would really help uplift her because she's sad too. And kids are kids, no matter what age they are.
Yeah.
So we thought it was a wonderful idea, and we don't want to leave anyone out. Kevin's been kind enough to allow us to post on the different sites. There's a dad who translated information into Spanish. Kevin posted that. It's on a couple of other pages. We've got a couple of parents who do speak Spanish who will translate for them because adoption is a very loose term. It may not translate well into other languages, and we didn't want anyone to be confused. So we're trying to put something together because we want everyone to be included. We don't want any senior that is here to not be adopted, to not be happy with what we can do for them.
Okay. Tina, can you add a little bit more to the Facebook group and maybe talk to me about the mission and how it came to be and what the ultimate goal is?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, going to the college thing, when Lisa brought it up to me, I said absolutely, because I think of my son, in 4 or so years, missing out on all that hard work and the recognition and the celebration and stuff. And I feel for it. I told her that I know somebody who's in their 40s that just graduated or is graduating on, I think, the 3rd of May from UCF. And she was crying the other day. I took balloons and left them on her doorstep because she was beside herself, so my son's in the other meeting right now, laughing right now, listening to me, but I really did feel for her, so yeah. And the other thing we discuss is, we're not going to leave anybody behind. Could we do this for all of Orlando? We would probably need a lot of help. But if somebody heard about our group and they want to be a part of it, we're not going to turn anybody down. Everybody, all the seniors are going through the same thing, and for me, from what I've seen on the Facebook page and stuff, The biggest thing for these seniors, I think, is getting love from a stranger, because it tells them that the world understands. The world understands. Like, we as parents understand. That goes without saying. But to know that everybody understands what they're going through, I think is a huge deal. So receiving love and little gifts and notes from strangers, I feel make a big difference for them.
And Tina, do we happen to have like a rough estimate of how many seniors have been adopted so far?
Yes, Lisa's got the exact number, because I know it.
As of right now, we have 115 students that have been adopted, but there are way more seniors at Lake Nona High School and in the community that we'd love to reach out to and bring them in so they can feel the love. My son's adoptive mother, although strange, was not a stranger. It was Tina. And when she delivered her little package to him, he went to hug her, and we both were like, no. This poor kid.
I felt bad.
I know. He didn't know what to do because he's used to hugging her and loving her, and he was like,
right. What do I do?
Exactly. But it meant the world to him for her to do that.
I love that. It's so great to hear, and it leads me to my next question is, what does it mean to see the high school seniors receive so much support from the community? And, Lisa and Tyler, let's go to you first.
For me, it's overwhelming. To be able to share so much love with someone that you may not know is a gift that, without this pandemic, without this quarantine, may have been lost on everyone. The genuineness that these adoptive parents have, and the outpouring of love that they're giving to these kids, and the actual senior parents, the way they're receiving this, I can't say anything more than it just fills your heart at a time when everyone needs love.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
You're fine. So what does it mean to you to see, yourself and the rest of your fellow classmates receiving so much support from the community?
Oh man, it's awesome, man. Because sometimes, during this whole quarantine thing, when you're like isolated from people, you kind of like feel beside yourself. And for these simple acts of kindness, like just these random people to do these really amazing and kind things that you didn't even have any idea about. You walk downstairs and boom, it's right there. It brightens up your day, and it's just amazing that people have that kindness in their heart, and they want to make the seniors happy for all the stuff they've not been able to do. It's awesome.
I love that. Angie, how about you?
I think that it's great to see the little amount of impact. I mean, not little amount, but how the smallest things could have such a huge impact on somebody that you don't even know. Like when I brought the adopted senior that I took in a little something yesterday, it was, and kind of like what Tina and Lisa had mentioned, you want to reach out and you want to hug this person, but you can't in today's society just because of what's going on. And just the impact that you can see that it had on her. The mom had actually reached out to me and told her and told me that the daughter was debating which way to go with college and what exactly to do. She had a very good idea what she wanted to do, but then she realized that, she wants to go and help others. So she wants to go into healthcare now.
Wow. Okay.
So just like the things that you think mean nothing have had a huge impact on some of our seniors. And as a parent, to be able to adopt another senior and bring that to them, I think it's a great opportunity that Lisa and Tina have put this group together. It's just given us, so many of us, a way to connect. And I think if we actually do have a graduation for our seniors and we see them walk across, we're going to know so much more about our seniors just from the little biographies that we're getting on his group. So I think, and for my son to have his family come over and give him his things, like, you can't see it with the mask on and everything, but as soon as we got inside, he was just all tickled pink. It was a huge moment for him. It really made him feel loved, and I think it's a great thing to do.
I think that's super important too, is making sure that everyone does continue to feel the love and the support throughout. Kevin, what would you say, like, what does it mean to you to see all these high school seniors getting so much support from the community?
Well, I mean, for me, it's kind of what I mentioned before earlier. Lake Nona as a community, we go back, because you actually grew up in the area before, we actually got developed. But most of the people came after 2012, 2013. So as a whole, our community is not 100 years old, like Winter Garden, like Winter Park, like the Boone Conway area. And so all these families have kind of, met at the YMCA soccer fields. They met at the school events. And so, it's a little bit different here than it is in other parts and other pockets of the Central Florida community. And so to see that, one, it's absolutely amazing. It's also absolutely not surprising because we are connected through social media, between the Narcoossee News, the Lake Nona Social, the Nona Insider, the Narcoossee News, all these different platforms, and we almost all feed the same stuff. And so I think it's absolutely amazing. I've known Tina for probably close to 10 years, probably Lisa, probably 8 or 9 years. So, it's not surprising seeing these two ladies come up with something like this to pour into the community. Tina is just one thing about her is her passion for our community. Take her son out of it. Her passion for the community has always been here since 2001, 2002 when she moved here. And that's her. I mean, she is one of the pillars of our Lake Nona community, because it doesn't matter where you go, whether it's North Lake Park, Laureate, Eagle Creek, people know Tina. And because she's been in the service industry and she loves on people. And so her doing this, Lisa doing this, not surprising at all, 100%. I don't want to use the word it was expected, but if someone would have told me someone was going to do this, these are the two ladies that I would have said, yeah, they're going to be
so nice.
Do it.
So Tina, let's go to you.
Well, I just think the whole thing is hilarious because there's parents actually fighting to adopt these kids. Like, they'll get under the post or the bio and they're like, I want to adopt, and then somebody might be like, I was first, and like people are like fighting to like adopt these kids. I have a waiting list right now of people who have inboxed me and private messaged me, and there's like 7 or 8 parents waiting as we speak. I don't even know what to do first. Like, do I tag them on the first post? Do I let them go get it? I told Lisa, I said, do we just wait and see who gets to it first? It's just amazing, and it's not even parents of grads, of seniors. I mean, it's like, a grandma, and it's a single guy, and it's, the people that are just coming out of the woodwork to adopt these kids. It's amazing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I thought we would be chasing it and chasing it and chasing it in the beginning. We did have a little influx, and we were like, all right, we kept bumping people up to the top. Who's been on, for adoption the longest? We don't have to do that anymore. It's like, it goes on and it's like, boom, it's gone. So only this community, I feel, is capable of such ridiculousness. Like I said, I've been here since 2001, and these people are crazy. So
Lake Nona.
Yes, hats off to everybody.
I think it's funny that you're talking about like parents who are like fighting over the children.
Yes, I'm like, what the heck?
I've been like watching the group because, as a member, I'm not a parent, but I am obviously I'm a former student, but I'm sitting here, I'm like, are there any of these kids that maybe they have the same interest in what I'm doing, and maybe I can just, even a little piece of advice that I could pass down? Or like the other part of me, like personally, my past job, I was a before and after school site supervisor. So a lot of these kids that I worked with years ago are now in the class of 2020. So I'm like, can I maybe rekindle and just like catch up with them and see, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, what are these kids up to, and what are their future goals? And you know, if I had helped them previously, how can I help them now? And everyone is beating me to it. And, you know, it's the funniest thing, but it's like a good sense of frustration in a sense, because it's like, you know, I'm happy that they got adopted and they have that support. But dang.
No, honestly, it's like a sea full of shark, and someone throws that one fish in there, and everybody goes crazy. I mean, Lisa's had to ref a couple. Like, she's had to go in there and be like, okay, you know, you guys figured it out. I love it. It's totally a testament to this community for sure.
I had said to Tina that it was kind of like a silent auction where you've got two moms that have had too much to drink, and the item is $10, and they're like 50, no 51, and they're just like going at it. But it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It is fun. It is fun, and it's definitely for a good group of people too. Yeah. And for those of you, I haven't said it in a while, for those of you just tuning into this live stream, we are discussing the Adopt a Senior or Adopt a Lake Nona Area Senior Group on Facebook to show the community support for the class of 2020. So if you have any questions for parents, teachers, or the high school students, please comment them below and we will pull them in and get them answered for you. Thank you for watching. Now, I have not gotten to you, Noemi, but I have not forgotten about you. So what does it mean to you to see so much support from the community for your high school class?
I actually wasn't expecting it. I mean, at the beginning, at least through social media, there's a lot of people downplaying everyone's feelings about it. They're like, oh, it's not a big deal. You're just a senior. Like, you still have the rest of your life. Like, this isn't, you know, but just to see the community come together in that way is just very, very nice, because I don't know, I know how I felt when I received that little like gesture and gift from my adoptive mom. So I can't even imagine how my friends feel, which makes me feel happy. Like, honestly, when that happened, I shed a few tears because I don't know, I was just like so taken by emotion. I was just like, oh, this is so nice. So like, just the fact that I know that so many other kids that were feeling down are getting uplifted, it's just amazing to see.
And that kind of leads me into my next question. So Noemi, we'll go back to you with, you know, you've been adopted and in this Facebook group. So what are some of the things that have put a smile on your face during this time, if you've gotten a gift from your adoptive parent so far?
So honestly, anything that I would receive from her would make my day. But I got this note, and she used my nickname because that's how my mom refers to me. It was Mimi, and she, like, I don't know, just that little notion that she used my nickname like on the card was just so like adorable. I just really loved it. And then she packed a bunch of candies for me, and honestly, I was craving candies the night before, and it was just like, and I haven't been able to like leave to go get anything that I've been craving. So I'm just like, This is perfect timing. And it was just the cutest thing ever. And I got some cute flowers too. I love flowers. It was just really nice.
Tyler, how about you? What are some of the things that you've received that put a smile on your face?
Obviously, the generosity of other parents helping out seniors. Another thing that puts a smile on my face is my mom, my dad, just my family trying to put a smile on my face, my brother's face, my sister's face, everyone trying to be nice to each other, lift each other's spirits, because right now it's kind of hard to find some positivity. So to know that your family, like your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, are, you know, there for you and wanna put a smile on your face, that puts a smile on my face.
Love that. And I know, Kevin, you touched on it previously about getting, you've got those gifts ordered for your adoptive student, and I assume you don't want to spoil the surprise. So
I don't, and if I tell you what, like, if I described my student, I would give it away because he's very unique to the Lake Nona community.
Gotcha.
But, you know, when this was started, I kind of knew, I was like, wow, you know, if I could adopt this student. So I actually reached out to his mom. I don't know his mom. And, you know, we became friends on Facebook, and she sent me the things that he likes. And then I also ordered a few things that I knew he would like. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to do it. So when it does happen, it's going to be exciting to see his reaction to that. And, you know, I think I've known him for 2 years now, and I think he's an amazing student. I think he's going to be an amazing contributor to society. He's excited to go to college, and he kind of knows the path he wants to take. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to partner with him and to adopt him.
Awesome. Cool. I can't wait to hear, what his reaction is and how it all goes. Tina,
Yeah.
so, you're are you an adoptive parent as well? That's right, because you have Tyler.
I adopted Tyler, and I actually I'm a little ashamed to say that without asking his mom. Although he is 18, I introduced him to scratch-off tickets. And he won.
Hey, there you go.
And he won.
That's awesome.
But basically, I just got with my son because he's his best friend, and Lisa, and basically just found out some little things that, he's so simple. He likes brisk iced tea and what are those spicy things I got you? I forgot the name of it.
Takis?
Yeah, and I got him. I know he likes to eat like my son. I got him a couple little gift cards at some places, and next week I got another little surprise for him, but I'll keep that to myself for now.
There you go. That's awesome. We did have a user submitted or an audience submitted question, and this will go towards Tyler and Noemi. As a senior, what would you have done differently as a junior in high school? So Noemi, we'll go to you first. And we do have a Carmen Castro. She just came in and said, congratulations to all of our Lake Nona High School seniors. So nice. You guys do have some community support, and I know you know that.
Thank you, Carmen. But what was I gonna say? I forgot. I blanked on the question. I'm sorry. Totally blanked on the question.
So somebody submitted. It is G Yari. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you for submitting. They asked, for a senior, what would you have done different as a junior in high school?
Yeah, see, it's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I went to junior prom, and I know not everyone had that opportunity to go their junior year. So I know that if I knew that was my last prom, I would have savored it so much more. I took it for granted in the sense. I was like, oh, I have a junior prom. This is so fun. And then now I don't have a senior one. So I'm actually very grateful that I was able to go at least junior year, but I would have savored those moments so much more. Like we do this thing called Troop Olympics in the theater department. And we made a cheer and stuff. And that's something I miss in that I don't know if that's my last one, or same as the school show. And the last few moments with my choir, like I see those end of the year moments as a junior, and I took those for granted because I was like, oh yeah, next year. But you never know what'll happen. So I just wish I would have savored those moments a little bit more.
Okay, and Tyler, how about you?
Yeah, that was a great point. Just cherishing those moments that you don't know you're not gonna have again, and it just if I could at least do things over, just take the time, actually process what's going on, and take it all in, because as Noemi said, you never know when you're gonna have some, and never know what's gonna be taken away.
Okay. And Tina and Lisa, I want to go back to the both of you. How can the rest of the community help the Facebook group achieve its goal and mission?
Basically spread the word. That's the thing. Like, there's so many out there, like Lisa said. My son comes from a small school, but how many students are at Lake Nona, Lisa?
How many seniors do we have?
A lot. And we haven't even
more than when I was in the class, that's for sure.
We haven't touched the cusp, and we have so many people wanting to give. And while we're talking about that too, I don't know if we mentioned this, but this has also been great for the community, because I feel like right now people want to give. It makes them feel good. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the parents, knowing that, their kids are being thought of. It's a win for the kids, for obvious reasons, and also a win for the community, because the community needs something to feel good about too. Everybody wants to feel good right now. So for me, I say spread the word. The more, the merrier.
I'd like to touch on a couple of things. The first thing, which is not off topic, but not pertaining to what you were just saying, is this group is for parents, caregivers, and adults. This group is not for the actual senior. There are two reasons for that. One, we're trying to keep it as a surprise when they do become adopted. And the other reason is for the safety of the senior. So there have been seniors that have been trying to join the group, and we congratulate them and we love them, but their parent or their adult caregiver needs to post. If an adult can't post for them and they message us, Tina and I will handle that and take care of it and get something done for them. But we really can't have anybody that isn't an adult in the group. One of the things that Tina said is making this a community-driven event. I completely agree with that. The other day I was talking with my husband, who thinks I'm completely insane. And the one thing that I thought of is this is actually in some small way helping some of our local businesses. I've seen the deliveries of all the food.
True.
Deliveries of food that may not have otherwise happened. So hopefully in some way it's stimulating a little something too. So if any of the businesses in the community would like to donate $5, $10, a gift card for our daily drawings, that would be so awesome. Some of our parents have, Tina's donated. There have been a couple of other moms that have donated, like a meal at Chili's, which a young boy named Andrew received. There's a lot going on, and we're asking some teachers. Mr. Chase picked a number, Mrs. Chase, Mrs. Connolly. So there are teachers on our page who we're asking to pick the numbers up. That would be a great way that people can help us keep the kids going, and just spread the word. We want to help everybody.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. And I know there were some things that you guys wanted to address regarding that group. Was that everything that you wanted to get out for the audience to know?
For me, yeah. Tina?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Well, another reason too, like Lisa said, why we want the adults to do it is we want to give the parents the opportunity to like brag on their babies a little bit, and we feel like, that, if these kids go on there, maybe they don't have the right intention, or maybe they're embarrassed to brag on themselves. I feel like it's great when the parent can come on there, or somebody who cares about the child and showcase them. And it's a great read for everybody who's in the group too. I love scrolling and reading about the different kids and the different talents, and seeing the different pictures of the different deliveries and the different smiles and everything. I feel like that's a lot of what makes the page as well.
There was something that Angie brought up that is a great point to mention. To show your support for a high school senior isn't only something that can be done through financially purchasing a gift or anything. Noemi, you said you got a note and that really made a difference. So I think there really this kind of serves as an option to be a little bit more creative and think, how can I show my support and offer advice that maybe if you're in a financial bind, you do write a note or you find another creative way. And I think that's something that everyone would appreciate. And it doesn't matter if it's, I know some people are sending lunch, maybe a pizza and breadsticks, or scratch off tickets like you guys mentioned, and putting like some money in the children's Venmo accounts. So there are several ways to show the support. And I really think that this group has shown multiple ways, and everyone's really being creative about it. If you guys see on the screen, Stacy Vega, thank you for commenting. She said,
very nice.
Thank you, Lisa and Tina, for setting up the adoption Facebook page. Kids are loving it, and so are the families.
We thank her for being supportive. And I want to touch real quick too. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Like somebody can send like a bunch of lollipops with a note and saying something, like I hope, your week is as sweet as you. But also, Lisa came up with a good idea with the whole cash, the Venmo and all that. Maybe somebody's got just a couple dollars, and they want to throw it into a kid's account, for them to go buy like a little, some French fries or something. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be, it's not about the money. It can be, there's so many different ways that you can show your love for the seniors on this page, for sure.
And we're kind of talking about being creative and how to show those ways of support. So what are some creative ways you've been dealing with staying at home? You know, how are you guys keeping yourselves entertained? Let's go to Lisa and Tyler.
I've been entertaining myself by being on the Facebook page 24/7.
I knew you were going to say that.
It feels like it's all I'm doing. And I do want to take a quick second for anybody that is an adoptive parent. Do whatever you're able to do, whatever you want to do. Each adoptive parent will have a different relationship with their adoptive senior. You may already know them, you may not know them. A lot of people are developing relationships, but parents of the actual seniors, please know that we are asking you not to ask the adoptive parents for anything. Please don't ask them to give you cash. Please don't tell them to buy your child X, Y, or Z, or go to a wish list for them. They're not really adopting your kid. So please let the adoptive parent do what's in their heart for them to do. I just wanted to say that real fast because I thought that needed to be addressed. The other way I'm entertaining myself is, having fun with the kids, trying to motivate them to do something like clean their room, bring their dishes down, cook dinner, do dishes. Yeah, that doesn't happen. But he's good. Not you. You're good. He's good. I got so it's
Tyler, how are you having fun and staying creative during quarantine?
So usually when I get home from school, I'd be playing my video games on my phone, and now that we have online classes, you don't have to go on a school bus or really do anything like that. So I've kind of tried to stay off my phone a little more, because the fact that I'm on a computer screen all this time for all these different classes, it's not really good on the eyes. So just to cut down on screen time, what I've actually been doing instead, interacting with my family. I always interact with my family, but just to do it more and take advantage of the time that we all have together, because it's family, and you should spend time with your family. And if you have the chance, put down the phone and have a conversation with your mom or dad.
You heard it here first.
He's also been playing the clarinet.
Yeah, okay. I'm playing it to pass the time too.
Yeah, which is nice. He plays very well, and Tina's son's very talented and very musical. And I love listening to Tyler play. It's very relaxing.
Noemi, how about you? How are you passing the time?
So I think one of the things that's really helped me is trying to keep my sleep schedule on check. So like the first week or so, I went off my sleeping schedule totally. I would be going to sleep at like 4, waking up at like 12. One day I was like, you know what, I need to fix this. I fixed it, and what I've been doing is I wake up early, like around, it's not super early, but like maybe 9 or 8, and I'll try and get like a small workout in just to like motivate me to start doing my schoolwork later, and it just gets me awake, and that has been helping me a lot, honestly, keeping me sane. Also, I've been spending a lot of times with my brothers, or at least when they're not on their video games, I'll just bother them, like I'll mess around with them in their room and stuff like that. So those are the things I've been doing most of the time.
And Angie, I know that you're going to have to leave us here in a few minutes to go to work. So I want to kind of skip ahead to our last question, which is what's some advice you'd give to the high school seniors and even those that are younger?
Boy, some advice.
Or maybe advice that you'd give to your past self if you were in their situation.
So I guess I would say what I kind of touched on before, learn to be flexible. That advice also will get you further in your careers, as well as you choose to go on to different things. Flexibility is a great thing, not often seen, and it's something necessary. Another piece of advice I would say is to something I say. It's kind of hard to make the the connection that I've seen back to the days of 9/11 that I see now. Another piece of advice is love your community, love those around you. Come together. I love that we're coming together as a community during difficult times, and it reminds me so much of the days of 9/11. So remember that everybody has a different situation, and don't be so quick to judge. Just remember that coming together has been a great thing for so many of us at this difficult time. So a little bit of that flexibility and to love your neighbor, I think would be my advice.
Love that. Love your neighbor. Thank you, Angie.
All right, bye-bye.
Noemi, how about you? So what would be some advice for your fellow classmates during this time?
I would just say this too shall pass. I mean, I know that's corny, but like it's one of those things that like, yeah, we don't have an end date and we don't know when this will end, but it will eventually end, and like there's going to be something to look forward to. And just like rely on each other. Rely on your friends and support and your family, and those are the things that are going to help us get through this tough time. So, yeah.
Tina, how about you? What's some advice you'd offer for the class of 2020?
Well, basically, it really is a hard pill to swallow, but to me, it's like I'll use this example. My son and I, we took out we had all these Mario puzzles that we haven't touched since, I don't know, he's 7, 8 years old. And so I was like, okay, let's relive, the old memories, we have nothing else to do. But then I realized at the same time that we're reliving the old memories, we're actually creating new ones. Those puzzles would have never came out ever again. So just, you got to make the best out of the situation. I know it's easier said than done. We can't make what was going to happen, but we can make things that weren't going to happen, if that makes sense. So.
Lisa and Tyler, how about you?
My advice is to always keep your faith. When you may not have anything left in the world, this gets taken from you, that gets taken from you. You will always have God. God will always be there for you. So always keep your faith. Never compare yourself to anyone else because you're not on the same schedule as them. Sometimes a baby will walk at a year old. Sometimes it may take that baby a little longer, but it all happens eventually. By the time they're 21, they're all walking, talking, and eating the way they need to be. Take your time, pace yourself for you, not for anyone else, not for your parents, not for your friends, but for you. That's extremely important. So keep your faith, pace yourself according to your own schedule because you're unique. We're all unique. We all do things differently. And love your family, appreciate your family, and just breathe.
Tyler, what's some advice for your fellow classmates?
Trust the process. People right now, they're working on a cure for disease, and even though it looks dark now, just stay inside, take the right safety precautions in terms of, cleaning up. Check on your neighbor. If you have an elderly neighbor, make sure they're doing okay because it's difficult for them since they're immune compromised. They're a little bit older, so they don't move the same as younger people. So definitely check in on the elderly people in your community and make sure they're doing okay.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. For those watching, this is the end of our roundtable discussion regarding the Facebook group that has really made a difference so far in the Lake Nona area for adopting a Lake Nona area senior. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Lisa and Tyler and Tina and Noemi and Angie and Kevin, who did have to leave early, thank you everyone for joining and really helping to make a difference and reach everyone in our audience. For the class of 2020, hang in there. We are here for you. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.